Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald and today I'm going to show you how to make a straightforward presentation bouquet. So this is really an overarm style bouquet, or it is an item that you could use for a funeral as well. So we would call this like a sheaf of flowers. So really, essentially it's a tied bunch, but it lies flat and can go over the arm. So for our contents then, we've got some beautiful hypericum. I've got these beautiful chrysanthemum blooms. I've got some wonderful mimosa, and it seems to be really good just now, and this is a type of acacia. We've got some beautiful yellow roses, French ruskus, this is a bit of cocculus. We've got some lisianthus or eustoma. I've got a little bit of this foliage here, and this is called choiysia, and it has the most amazing smell if you damage the leaves. And we've got a little bit of leatherleaf fern and asparagus fern. So if you're interested in keeping up to date with all our videos, click here, tap that bell, and then you won't miss out on any of our new designs that are coming up. So to start then, really what we want to do is we want to find a nice strong back. So I'm looking for things that have a certain shape. So this piece of French ruskus has a nice shape. So I'm going to use this really in the center. And we are going to work this like we would work a hand tie, except so we want the stems to cross over and basically be nice and neat. So I'm going to start just laying things in. So what I'm doing here is when I'm coming on this side, I'm going behind. And when I'm on this side, I'm going to come on top and to the front. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to go that way to this side, that way to that side. So really with this design, what we're wanting to do is make sure that there's some strength at the back with the foliage, and another good foliage for that is actually the Aspidistra. So we can put 2 or 3 of them to the back, and we're going to kind of layer things as well. So for all we've got that bit of French ruskus here, I've already added some material and now I'm putting that on top. So what we're wanting to do is build some volume into our bouquet as we go. So we're not necessarily wanting to hide things, but we're wanting to create some interest and some volume, actually, is really probably a good way of putting it. So what I've done is I've cleaned off a lot of these stems. So this would have had leaves down to about here. We've cleaned that off so that we get a nice clean set of stems for tying. And really you can have some fun. So we've got some right punchy colours here with our flowers, so with the yellows. And I really like that. I think zingy is good. So as you can see, we're just building this up, and we can even we could bring this into here and fold it over to create a little bit of volume. That's not a bad thing. You can group your flowers. Or you could have them all mixed through the design. The choice is up to you. But really this is quite a kind of traditional design. So if you can imagine at the end of a concert, someone being given that big bouquet, this is how I would go around making it. If your foliage on your roses is in good condition, then that's great. I would leave them. Leave it on, and that helps to add a little bit of volume. And we're really just working our way. Now you might find that things are getting a little bit tiring, so you can use your bench or your table just to rest your bouquet, to give your hand a little bit of a rest. And if you don't hold it too tight is another good point. If you're holding it too tight, you're going to make your hand tired. It's going to be harder to construct. I think what we really need is a little bit more length here, so let's bring this one up here. Now, as long as everything passes through our binding point, that is our main thing. So the flowers going through this point here is really the important element for this being nice and stable. So we can move it around. We can just gently loosen off this hand and just move things a little bit. Loving this greenery, and that's the great thing with the flowers or the flower industry, is everything's always changing. So you go through spring, you get all the beautiful spring flowers, then you start to get into different materials, and before you know it, you're already doing a different type of arrangement and a different style. So, loving the mimosa as well, so just strip that down a wee bit. Got quite a branchy bit here, we can put that in such a way that we're getting a bit of volume. The asparagus I really enjoy for adding a different texture, and because of the way it just lies, you can bring it in and use that to create like an overlay on your flowers. Now the one thing with this style of bouquet is that you do end up making some material shorter for the bottom, so really for kind of like the return that you're going to have. It's maybe not perfect if you want to take this, cut the string and put it into a vase, but I think a lot of people might just want to keep this complete anyway. They can place this straight into a vase and have it sitting, or they could even put it into a low dish and have it lying, so they don't necessarily have to cut it to get the flowers. But if they truly love flowers and they want to do their own thing, you can cut it open and take all the different flowers and create your own designs, which is an even better idea. So down this end then, I'm just adding a bit of volume. Now also we can still put a big one at the back if we want. Got a couple of the shorter pieces of the French ruskus. Again, I'm just looking to check where do I want things. So because we've got that spiral that we've created, it is possible to just feed in another flower into a place that maybe we started with and think that we need another flower. And then really for these, I think we can leave them up, or we could fold them over. I quite like the fact that they're sticking out, is quite interesting. Maybe just a little bit. So as you can see, you do need quite a little bit of material for this type of design. But if it's going to be for a presentation in front of a group of people, you want it to be quite big. You want it to be quite extravagant. So really the key is probably in the foliage to give you that volume and to make it look quite special. So I'm just double checking this and thinking, right, am I happy with where everything is? Yeah, I think so. We can just adjust it a little bit. Now you could use totally different flowers, but what we've got essentially here is we've got a really nice spiral. So this is like your hand tie that you would have if you were making a round bouquet, except what we've done is we've left some materials long and some short. So we're getting a totally different shape of bouquet. So the thing that we need to do now is just cut this, or should I say tie this. Now I'm just using a twine here, but you can use a more natural material if you wanted, like a garden twine. I'm just going to go around it a couple of times. The kind of plastic twine has the advantage that it tends to lie flat. So if you're wanting to do a tie that's not bulky, then the plastic twine works really well. If you're wanting to be more environmental, you can use an organic twine that would biodegrade, so that would be better. So what we've got here is we've got a really neat tie point. So our next thing then is, what would you do with this? Well, as I say, this can be a bouquet that would go over the arm. You might want to add some wrapping. I'm not going to wrap this, but you could wrap around this area, but you would want to keep the front open, and I think that would be good. I really like it just natural. I don't think it needs to have any more wrap. If this was for a funeral, I definitely wouldn't use it with wrap. I think it looks much better being natural. So what we need then, just to finish it off, is a ribbon. Now, I'm going to use this lovely voile ribbon. And if you don't know how to make a bow, we do have one of our videos shows you a couple of different methods on how to approach making a bow. And this one is the type of bow I would call like a chocolate box bow, because essentially it's 4 loops. Just tie that there. So we've got a nice simple bow, and this is really just to hide our tie point. If you leave a longer bit of ribbon, which would have been better, you can come right round and come back to the front and tie it. So a little bit longer would have been better for me there. And then all we need to do here is just trim these stems. So what I'm looking for when I'm trimming is to create a nice shape. So we want to not take all the length off. We want to just take it into a nice, clean spray of stems. So this looks just as neat down here as it does up here. So there we go. We've got a simple tied sheaf of flowers, ideal for an overarm presentation. Add some wrap to give it even more volume or more glamour. But essentially this is how I would go around creating that type of design. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, then please keep up to date with all our videos, and thank you for watching.